Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Committee will be in order. The committee will be in order.
We don't want another war.
Ask the police to restore order.
Nobody wants this war. The American people do not want this.
Can I just say before you speak, you know, the first time I testified before this committee when I was 27 years old, I had feelings very similar to that protester.
In our opinion, and from our experience, there is nothing in South Vietnam, nothing which could happen that realistically threatens the United States of America. And to attempt to justify the loss of one American life in Vietnam, Cambodia, or Laos by linking such loss to the preservation of freedom is to us the height of criminal hypocrisy. And it's that kind of hypocrisy which we feel has torn this country apart.
If we don't take a stand here today, I guarantee you we are more likely to face far greater risks to our security in the future.
Each day, to facilitate the process by which the United States washes her hands of Vietnam, someone has to give up his life, so that the United States doesn't have to admit something that the entire world already knows, so that we can't say that we've made a mistake.
The President of the United States has made his decision. The President has decided we need to do this.
Someone has to die so that President Nixon won't be, and these are his words, the first president to lose a war. And we are asking Americans to think about that. Because how do you ask a man to be the last man to die in Vietnam? How do you ask a man to be the last man to die for a mistake?
Our country nor our conscience can afford the cost of silence or inaction.
We cannot fight communism all over the world, and I think we should have learned that lesson by now.
Syria is also important because, quite simply, I can't put this to you more plainly than to just ask each of you to ask yourselves. If you're Assad, or if you're any one of the other despots in that region, and the United States steps back from this moment together with our other allies and friends, what is the message?
But I do not believe that this Congress will, in fact, end the war as we would like to, which is immediately and unilaterally. I would obviously say that we must set a date, and the date must be the earliest possible date.
What is the message?
The message is that he has been granted impunity, the freedom to choose to use the weapons again or force us to go through this cycle again with who knows what outcome after once refusing it.
We are probably angriest about all that we were told about Vietnam and about the mystical war against communism. We found that not only was it a civil war, an effort by a people who had for years been seeking their liberation from any colonial influence whatsoever, but also we found that the Vietnamese, whom we had enthusiastically molded after our own image, were hard put to take up the fight against the threat we were supposedly saving them from. We found that most people didn't even know the difference between communism and democracy.
President Obama is not asking America to go to war. We all agree there will be no American boots on the ground.
We veterans can only look with amazement on the fact that this country has not been able to see that there's absolutely no difference between a ground troop and a helicopter crew. And yet people have accepted a differentiation fed them by the administration. No ground troops are in Laos, so it's all right to kill Laotians by remote control. But believe me, the helicopter crews fill the same body bags, and they wreak the same kind of damage on the Vietnamese and Laotian countryside as anyone else.
This is not the time for armchair isolationism. This is not the time to be spectators to slaughter. Neither our country nor our conscience can afford the cost of silence. We have spoken up against unspeakable horror many times in the past. Now we must stand up and act. And we must protect our security, protect our values, and lead the world with conviction that is clear about our responsibility. Thank you.
They had personally raped, cut off ears, cut off heads, taped wires from portable telephones to human genitals and turned up the power, cut off limbs, blown up bodies, randomly shot at civilians, razed villages in a fashion reminiscent of Genghis Khan, shot cattle and dogs for fun, poisoned food stocks, and generally ravaged the countryside of South Vietnam, in addition to the normal ravage of war.